So the twin tables in AquaTwin Water and Sewer, this is where you can come and look at your input output data in a more tabular format. And they're going to be located inside of this digital twin tab of your Data Explorer, which is open on the left-hand side of my screen. And again, to open up this Data Explorer, in the top right of this AquaTwin ribbon, you can just click on Data Explorer to open this tab. So I'm going to first open up this pipes attribute table. First of all, if you come to options in the top right hand corner of this is where you toggle on what you want to see. So right now I just have input data toggle on. You can do input, output, you can mix and match, but this kind of gives you a good feel for what you're looking at inside of the table. So I'm just going to start with input data. First of all, any of the input data in these attribute tables, they're always, you can copy and paste into them if you would like. So you can always, copy this, take it to Excel, do any kind of external calculations and paste it back in here if you would like. We do have some bulk editing tools already just kind of built into these tables. For instance, I could make a selection on just these, just these rows and bulk edit the roughness values of just these rows. What you can also do is if you click on the first row and do the bulk editing, you end up editing the entire column when you do that. And then we also have a field calculator where you can just come in here and edit the entire column if you would like to as well. So the next thing to know with these attribute tables is that we have pivot tables built inside of them, meaning if I want to look at, all the unique diameters, I can drag this up here to kind of build out a pivot table. You can also stack these. So, for all my 12-inch diameter pipes, it looks like I only have one roughness value for all of those in here. So these are available to, kind of build out for every single column. The next thing I want to talk about is in the top left-hand corner of this screen. This is an ArcGIS selection shortcut, meaning I could come into my map, make a selection, and this table is going to kind of update to only show what is selected. So again, that was a manual selection. You can use a saved selection, a saved query. However you make that selection in your map, this table is going to update to only show what's selected, which is again very convenient when it comes to viewing results or maybe making global edits on a certain selection in your map. So the next thing I'm going to talk about inside of here is this field statistics option. The field statistics option is just kind of gives you different statistics for particular fields. So for example, diameter, minimum and maximum, that would make sense. Whereas maybe the sum and average standard deviation, would not make as much sense. So depending on the field, some of these statistics will, kind of apply or not apply, but you can come in here and do this for every single field in here if you would like. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and toggle on some input and output data. All the output data will always kind of be grayed out like this. So that way, you can copy it, but you'll never be able to paste back into it, just kind of showing that it is just output data. So I kind of showed this earlier, but you can move any of these fields around. You can actually just get rid of these if you want to. And what you always have the ability to do is save a layout to refer back to as well. And what I mean by that is you can set this table up however you would like, okay? You can always come up here and do save layout. And this time, when you save it, when you open up this save layout, the field mapping will be the exact same. So, I'll call this one test. And then if I close out of this, in the selection tab of this Data Explorer, there's a Save Reports folder. And if I double click on Save Test, it just reopens the way that I had this report saved. So this is really nice because you can come into options and you can toggle on input output data, set it up one time with the fields that you always like to see. Again, move them around however you would like. But then you can always just kind of save it to refer back to. And then the last thing I will mention about these tables is that they are kind of floating, so you can certainly kind of keep this open on a second monitor if you would like to as well. Another thing that people like to look at inside of these twin tables is on the water side of things, look at the demands at their junctions, and on the sewer side, look at the inflows at a junction. So if I come back in here and open up my junction attribute table, and let's just look at my input data, you can see right now I have, demand 1, pattern 1, demand 2, pattern 2, and this is, demand 2 pattern. If you want to look at more or less of these demand numbers, if you come up to options and come to format, You see here the demand categories. You can come in here and kind of specify how many that you want to see inside of these tables and in the asset properties for a particular junction. But that's where this demand data is going to be kind of viewed in a more tabular format. Now, on the sewer side of things, inside of these attribute tables, and let's just toggle on just my input data. To look at the inflow data for your AquaTwin sewer project, it's going to be in this edit table up here at the top. So there's three different types of inflow that you can have. I'm just going to look at the direct one right now. And it ends up essentially being, just a large table of all your inflows, with these most important columns being, asset ID, the baseline, essentially like that's what your inflow value is, and then a baseline pattern, so a diurnal pattern associated for each inflow. Again, the kind of the header of this is very similar to the other tables where you can come in here and bulk edit, add or delete fields. You can also look at these for like individual assets at a time, meaning, I can come in here, maybe make a selection of just these 4 junctions. Again, remember, there's only going to be 4 junctions selected in here, but then it's only also going to show me the inflow of those 4 junctions as well. So when it comes to looking at inflow demand data, you can also do that inside of these attribute tables as well.